Let me show you an example of using OpenAI's API. OpenAI is the company behind ChatGPT. OpenAI is a company that created a bunch of AI models, and you can use their models using their APIs, the exposed APIs. In fact, that's how they make money primarily, right? So let's assume you want to build a website that people can come, put in prompts, and they generate an image. You don't have to create the process of generating images because OpenAI already created that for you. You can just make an API call and get the image from them. So let's say you create an app like this. All you got to do is add a prompt. I can say a dog cooking in the kitchen, right? And then I'm just going to click send. And now what my application is doing is actually authenticating with OpenAI and sending a message or request to OpenAI. OpenAI responds back with the response, and the application will get the response, will parse it, and will display it here. Just like you see here, we just got the image. We never built an AI, but OpenAI built an AI and they exposed an API. So we made a request to them, got a response, and we could display it to our customers. So let's see what the API itself looks like. So this is Postman. This is a tool we use to make API calls manually to verify or to test APIs. So we got the URL. This is the URL, api.openai.com, and the resource right here. And we have the payload. The payload has model, prompt, and size, right? So the model is always needed, but everything else depending on what kind of API you're using. The prompt, usually you have it, the size, this is an image, so you have that. So this is a JSON. So when this is a RESTful API, when we use RESTful APIs, the request we send is in a JSON format, the body of the request, and the response is also in a JSON format. And this is a post call. And you're not just going to know this out of thin air. You would have to look at the documentation to see how to make this API call. Then I'm going to hit send. I have credentials. When I look at in the header there is an authorization, and I put the credential, which is a key in this case. So there's different ways to authenticate with APIs. I go to my account and I create an API key, and I use an API key when I send the request, so they know who I am, they know I'm paying for this, so they can respond with a success. All right, so we got a response back. It took 11 seconds, almost 12 seconds to respond. We got a 200. We always look at the status code when we get a response to make sure it's good. The 200 means it worked, and the response itself is in a JSON format. And then we have a URL with the image. So all I have to do is actually copy that. Copy the image and open it in a browser to see the image that got generated. So the application is basically parsing that and displaying it in the app itself, right? So make sure you follow. I'll create a lot of content, educational content about coding and QA and testing in general.